so abstract. Yeah, it's complicated. What you say, the way you act, well, it makes me so confused. I don't know what to do anymore. Can't you just make up your mind? My heart drops when you play around. How can you be up when I'm down? Don't wanna think about it right now. Maybe you just wanna be friends, but there's a fight when we are talking. Maybe you just wanna pretend, but I can read between the lines. Even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting, still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be. No, baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be. How it hurts to see you smile, like a dagger in me. She just seems so juvenile. I just want it to be me. I wanna set your world on fire. Oh, just so sure I'll stick around. Oh, my heart drops when you play around. How can you be up when I'm down? Don't wanna think about it right now. Maybe you just wanna be friends, but there's a fight when we are talking. Maybe you just wanna pretend, but I can read between the lines. Even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting, still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be. Oh, even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting, still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be. No, baby, I don't wanna be. No, baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us over here as we get ready for our next live stream with KB Riley. We're going to be bringing on the star of the show, which is Karen Bernstein. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Awesome. I just want to say that as I was looking through the chat, I saw someone who said they have 200 of your dies.
That's a lot. There are only 300, so that's 2/3 of them.
Wow, that was
Yeah.
my next question. How many dies do you actually have?
There are 300. Yeah.
Wow. All right, you guys, you are in for a treat. Karen is amazing with her dies, and she's got all kinds of interactive and pop-up stuff. I'm hoping that she brought my favorite die, favorite thing.
I have it right here.
Hey.
Like, I know what she wants to see.
Yes. Well, we'll wait till the end of that. Before we get started, Karen, we do have a special discount promo code that we're sharing today with everybody. Now, you guys, these are only offered for 48 hours from right now. So be sure to have one screen open so you get ready to shop, because a lot of times when we do these live streams, they sell out. And you definitely want to grab it while you see it. So, all right. Karen, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you have the stage. And then when we come back, we're going to do a giveaway from you guys. Okay?
That sounds awesome.
All right. Hold on.
Okay. I am going to switch my camera so that you all can see my desk. And what I thought I would do this evening is make a little Easter project. So this one's going to be our project here tonight. I did a little bit of the work ahead of time because it's only 30 minutes, and I know you guys would want to look at samples and stuff too. I took my inspiration actually from this St. Patrick's Day card that I taught actually a few years ago. So that's one nice thing about these projects is they kind of are a little bit timeless. And what's nice is that if you've got a project that you really like, you can just change out the colors and the styling and the theme, and it's, a whole new project. So we're a few days past St. Patrick's Day, so I thought I'd switch it up, and we would do Easter. So this one uses 3 dies. This uses our fancy label accordion. What's nice about this die is that you can make it as long as you want. So it cuts 1 page of your accordion, and then you just chain them together using the attached tab. So if you wanted to make a really long mantelpiece, decoration, 12 Days of Christmas or something like that, you could do that with this die. And then since we're doing Easter, I grabbed a couple of our Easter dies. So we'll be using the Easter charms and then our Easter borders on this one. So just these 3 dies is all that was used. All right, so let's jump in here. Show you how I made this thing. So I'm doing something a little different, is that I'm doing a solid page as the final page. So that's kind of an alteration that you can certainly do. Rather than having your accordion just keep on going, you can end it with a solid page. And then I guess what's kind of nice about that is that you have that area on the back if you needed a bigger area to write on, and then it kind of fills in the gaps when it's closed. So it's kind of interesting. I think it's kind of an interesting look, makes a nice display piece. So that's why I did it that way. Okay, so here's what I did ahead of time. I cut my accordion pages. So with this die set, like I was mentioning, you cut as many pages as you want for your project, and you just keep chaining them together. So in my case, I needed 4 pages. And the die itself, let me see, I just grabbed the die. Right now, I have it with a couple of the decorator dies nested in, because that's how I did all the decorator pieces. But I would just take those 2 dies out and just cut it. And then I'm just going to get a solid page like this that has a tab attached on the right. And then it also has these little small tabs on the inside. And then to use it for decorator paper, then what I did is I nested in the 2 largest decorator dies and cut it all at the same time. And I just kept going and did that out of several different patterns of paper. And that way I have all these frames that I can use on the outside, and then all these, interior frames and pieces that I can use as well. And I went ahead and decorated the front of my pages. The only one I haven't done is this last one, so that I could demonstrate it. All right, so with an accordion, the first thing you do is you always have your tabs to the right. So you work the fold on those tabs. And then my favorite is a really strong glue. So, lots of glues out there, pick your favorite, but my favorite is Lineco Neutral pH Adhesive. I know it's a mouthful, but that's my favorite. And then I dispense it in our fine tip bottles, which is a 18 gauge needle tip. And then to keep the glue flowing, I just put it in a damp paper towel in a jar, and that'll just keep that glue flowing kind of throughout my crafting session. So, okay, so I'm going to use that tab, and I'm going to chain these things together. And this is how you would start any accordion, is you're just going to chain your pages together. You don't have to decorate them first. You could certainly put them all together first and then decorate. But like I said, I was trying to do some of the work ahead of time. Did I do this in the right order? Yes, otherwise I'm making a creative choice. So I'm going to take it apart. So yeah, I do some people, I live in Texas, so I'm in the Houston area, and we have a lot of humidity here. And I just haven't found that very many tapes will really hold up long-term with the pop-ups, but a good glue always does. So I'm a big fan of glue for the pop-ups, but maybe it's different where you live, depending on your climate. And maybe even sometimes your elevation might make a difference in your favorite adhesives, but okay, so with any accordion, after you get as many pages as you want, then you can cut off the final tab on the last page because you've got nothing to chain it to. So in this case, now this one's going to be the end of my album. I would have the choice to either cut it off, or if I wanted to, since I'm putting a piece of paper on the back anyway, I could just fold it to the back and glue it down, and then it would make kind of that nice edge on the side. So I think I'm going to do it that way. Okay, so just fold that over and glue it down. Now, I really like a heavyweight cardstock for the accordions, but I like to use 100-pound cardstock, or even 110 is awesome, because I just like the pages to be really nice and sturdy. But I will say that if you're going to add pattern paper to your pages, that's going to add strength. So you could use a medium weight cardstock. What I wouldn't do with the accordions is use the real thin stuff. It's not that it wouldn't work. It's that it'll be flimsy. It won't be pretty, and nice and solid on your table. Okay. I'm going to start over here on this page because I'm doing something different over here. For this page, I'm just going to cover up the mechanism so that it's a solid. And what I did is this is just some paper I had in my stash. It's Echo Park. I think all of these papers are Echo Park. And it was just something that I had, that matched the Easter theme. But, there's tons of cool pattern papers out there. I don't know. I don't know how old it is. So papers tend to go kind of quickly. So I cut a piece here for this one. And then on the back, I'm going to use a bigger one. And then that'll, then you'll never know that was there. And, a question I think was asked when I taught this class, when I was doing the St. Patrick's Day class, is like, well, is there a reason you wouldn't just cut a square of cardstock for this spot? You could. I just kind of like it that it's exactly the right size as these ones, and it has that little rounded corners and stuff that you get from doing a die cut. So I prefer to go ahead and die cut the page and then just cover the mechanism so that I know it fits. Okay. So that's it. Now, one thing about the accordions is you always want to decorate them flat, because once you put it together and start connecting these interior pages together, it no longer goes flat anymore. So, you could always go in and press your decorations on, but if you can, try and think of your decorations beforehand and get them decorated, that's the better thing to do. All right, so let's talk about these decorations. So still using my fancy label accordion. I nested a couple of the dies together to make these little frames. And these I decided I'm going to elevate on some pop dots, and they're going to hold my Easter decorations as I go along. So just a little ink, I think, around the edges so that it gives me some contrast. I'll just do all three of them. So yeah. It's I like this die set because it comes with so many of the little decorator labels as well. So and you can pull those out and use those just when you need a nice label. It doesn't always have to be for a pop-up or something. You could just use those. All right, so from our decorator dies, let's talk about our decorator dies here. So we have a lot of shaped border dies, and so the Easter borders are cute. They're always 5.5 inches long, but you can extend them. So if you're a scrapbooker and you want to have grass or bunnies hopping all the way across your 12 by 12 layout, just cut multiples and just, put them together. So you can do decorative eggs and carrots and bunnies and grass, and you can also do solid eggs. So all I'm using on this project is I cut the grass one time because that's enough to go across all three of my frames. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to use the bunnies. But I didn't end up using the other ones. Yeah. Trying to think what else. I guess we don't have the opportunity for people to ask questions. So I feel like I'm doing all the talking. Are there questions? How would I know? Am I supposed to? Is there a... Oops, shoot. Well,
if there are questions, Harriet will put them up on the screen for us.
Okay. That would be... Right. Okay. Gotcha.
It looks like there's a question about the second die. Is there a second die for decorating the panel shapes?
Those pieces, the panel shapes, they all come with the die set. So the fancy label accordion, you can get dies that will do frames around the outside. But the base die, the fancy label accordion, it comes with your accordion page, but then it comes with 1, 2, 3 decorator labels and this little square and a flower. So that all just comes with it. So you don't have to shop separately to get, the decorator labels that fit it. Now on the outside edges, you can purchase frame edges that are sold separately. So there's a season set, a flourish set, and then even a solid set that you can use. What I did instead is I just used the page to cut my pattern paper. And then I just took my trimmer and trimmed a little bit off the outsides because it was the pattern paper was the same size as these pages because I cut it with the page die. But then I just trimmed a little bit on the outside and then just glued it on. But you do have those options. And then there are add-ons for the interior portion of the fancy label accordion that will turn it in kind of a double pop-up. And I will certainly show you those. There's birthday candles, there's hearts, and there's trees. So those all are add-ons that you can use to kind of change up the look. But you have a complete die set, I guess is what I'm saying with this set to do that. Okay, so then going to our other decorator dies are Easter charms. So things that are charms, what that means is that they have a little charm hole on them so that, you know, we're kind of in the pop-up business. So there's times that you may want to have a decorator piece dangling off of a pop-up, you know, like that. And so we do a lot of our decorator dies as charm sets. But what's nice about that is that makes them double duty, because if you're not going to dangle it off of a pop-up, well, you can just take your scissors and trim off the charm hole. And then now it just becomes a standalone element. So that little chocolate bunny there, standalone element. And that's going to go here in my first page. How am I doing on time? Okay. Checking my time. Yeah, I actually forgot that I usually actually have Ash in the room with me calling out questions. I forgot to ask her to do that. She's just got back from college. I heard her walk in, but I don't know if I can get her in here that fast to call out the questions for me. So then that's just going to be my, I mean, that's pretty easy. And then I just thought for a little bit of dimension, that's the word I'm looking for, I would just put some pop dots behind that when I put that on the page. And I probably would go around and add a few more, but I'm just going to do this to kind of give the idea. Okay, isn't that cute? All right, so there's page one. Now, I did want to kind of show a fun thing with the Easter charms is these patterned eggs. So in that charm set, you've got this die that will cut a bunch of stripes for a striped egg, and then they even have kind of a cool emboss feature on them. So if you were to run that die through with an embossing sandwich, you would get an embossed raised decorative pattern. But you can also kind of cheat, which is to put some double-sided adhesive on the back of your cardstock before die cutting, and then the cushion of that adhesive will give you the emboss without you having to change out your machine. And so what I like to do is I choose, when I'm making Easter eggs, is I choose 3 colors that all go together, and I cut the decorative piece, and then I cut 3 of the base charm eggs. So it wouldn't matter what color, you're not going to see the color, but I just did white. Okay. And then since this is a sticker, I can peel up the sticker, say on the pink one. I'll start with the pink one, and I'm just going to barely put it on there. Okay. Because what I want to do is I want to take out the stripes that I don't need. You know what? I probably should do that before I put that on there. Let me do it this way. It's barely connected on the sides. So if I snip, say I'm right-handed, so I'm going to snip on the right-hand side, and I'm going to get all of these stripes to where they're individual stripes, but they're still connected on the left-hand side. See what I did there? Okay, so that way it'll all hold together in the right shape to be able to barely start it. What I mean is I'm not mashing it down because I want to take some of these stripes out. Okay. I put that on there. And then that will put the stuff in the right spot, but then I can rip out the ones that I don't need and move them to another egg. So it's a way to get 3 eggs, 3 striped eggs pretty easily, because I can now, I'm just going to pop those out.
You know, our life mission is to always get more striped eggs.
You know, that's the thing. I mean, and you're always wondering, like, how can I get striped eggs faster? You know, I mean.
Oh, I see the engineer in you coming out right now. Yes, we must get more striped eggs out faster.
Right. How can we do it? It looks nice too. I mean, if you're a colorer, you could, you know, you could just cut it out of white or something and then just color them. It wouldn't have to be, you know, paper pieced. But what kind of our brand is about really is the ability to make cards like that are completely die based. You know, now we do have some clear stamps for greetings. Now we've started offering some greetings greeting stamps that coordinate with our dies. A lot of times because you can't do nice long phrases and stuff in dies very easily. So having the clear stamps is a nice thing. But we don't really do imagery stamps. We do we make our cards just kind of completely out of dies, and it's just another way of crafting, I guess, that for people like me that aren't like gifted colorers. Sorry, I mashed this down a little more than I should have on that one stripe, but that's okay. I'll pull it off of there. Okay, and then my purple one. So I think I go over this in the assembly video. It's been a long time since I did the assembly video on the Easter charms, because it's actually our, 1078. So it's our 78th die. So that probably came out in several years ago.
One thing that I really like about your die sets, Karen, and this for everyone who is new to KB Riley, is that she does very detailed videos on every single one, because there are a lot of bits and pieces to these dies and a lot of mechanical stuff that, for those of us who are not as mechanically inclined, do not have an engineering background, those videos are so awesome. Thank you so much for making those when you make your dies.
Well, thank you. We definitely offer video assembly on all of the dies. All right, so let's see. Then this one would go here. So now you just start putting your stripes back on and mixing up the order, if that makes sense. So you could even leave some, like that one looks kind of cool with just the white stripes. So maybe I don't put the pink ones in there. But you just go through. Now you've got enough stripes to make 3 eggs, and they'll all fit perfectly. Although this one, I just like mashed it all up when I was doing it. I didn't get very good placement on this one, but it will be perfect if you don't rush like I'm rushing. But concept, right? This is a concept. I'm going to call this a concept class right now. But yeah, then you have enough stripes to do 3 eggs. Okay, I'm just going to mash them together. All right. It's not the prettiest thing ever because I didn't line them up perfectly, but you get the idea that it's by cutting those 3 eggs and then just mixing up the stripes, you put the wrong stripe there. I'm gonna leave that one white. You get 3 eggs. Okay. All right. You get that idea. I'm not going to continue with this egg, but then you have eggs. But what I did think would be fun is to dangle the eggs. I was trying to go back to that St. Patrick's Day card and sort of copy it, because I really like it when I have a design and then all I have to do is just kind of change out. So instead of using the good luck charms, I was going to use the Easter charms. So I liked that look of the charms kind of dangling from a piece of twine. So I said, well, I'm going to do that in the center section with the egg and the jelly bean charms. So I cut a piece of twine and I cut a couple of the little jelly bean charms too. And then for this one, I'm going to just string them across the frame using that twine. So go through this one, go through this one, go through this one, and then I'm just going to suspend those behind this frame. Okay, so a little glue here, a little glue here. Here and here. Okay. And then when I won't just let them dangle. I'll put little pop dots behind them, when I put them on the page. But then now I've got these cute little dangling charms from that twine. But, if you didn't like that look, you could just cut off the charm hole. So that's just really a nice feature of those. How are we doing on time? Let's see. Okay. I think we're put that one there. Okay. What's happening over here? I'm just going to show you what's that?
I said, you're doing okay. We're at 7:38 and I'll need to pull our drawing around 7:43.
7:43. Okay. Well, I basically just want to show you the decor that I did and then put this thing together, which is more important than replicating every little bunny. But what I did on this one is I took that 5.5-inch bunny border and actually just cut it into groups of 2 bunnies so that they could kind of fill the frame. So one thing that we like to do with the brand is we try not to discontinue dies. What we try to do is we come out with like a new add-on or a new border or just something that'll give something a new look in future releases. So, I mean, this is a good example of mixing dies from different releases. And, you know, those Easter borders give a new look to those when mixed with those Easter charms. So that's kind of what we do. And then we do add-ons too for our pop-ups to give them new looks. So then there's, okay, so I would do all that decorating. So I'm not going to glue those down because I want to show you how this goes together. So then we can look at a few other samples before the time is up. All right. So with accordions, when you've done all your decorating and you're ready to put it together, the first thing I like to do is train my outer pages. And I always start with a valley fold here. It'll work if you do a mountain fold. The benefit of doing a valley fold here and between the first 2 big pages is that your little labels are always opposite what your big pages are doing. So if your big pages have a valley and then a mountain and then a valley, then you're going to have the opposite here. So if you start with valley in the back, that means you have mountain in the front. And that means this page turns around and becomes the front of your album. So you don't have, now sometimes you may prefer to have it such that it's mountain the first page, and then the page is going to flip over and then you have another surface to decorate because this would become the front of your card right here. So it's all about which one you start with, but they both work. But I like to start with a valley first. So I'm going to do valley, then I'm going to do mountain, then I'm going to do valley. Okay, then I'm going to stand that on the table and I'm going to twist those inner labels so that they're kind of creating the opposite type of fold. So if it's valley back here, I want a mountain between these 2. And this one, I've got a mountain in the front, so I need to twist this one so that it can connect back here. So you're basically going to shoot those little labels right through the album, connecting to each other with those small tabs. Okay, so it's pretty easy to put those together. And once again, I would just use your glue for that, especially for those small tabs because they are small. So, you know, you definitely want it to hold up. Okay, so now I've got those 2 connected. Then these 2, I'm going to go back in there and connect those. I should have worked those folds first, especially because those were valley folds. So this one's going to fight me a little bit because I didn't fold them first, but it's fine. I'll just fold them after. Just need to give it a little bit of extra time.
Deanna is asking, where do you get the glue with the tiny applicator?
So we sell these fine tip bottles on our website, KarenBerniston.com, for the next 48 hours. You know, you've got a 20% off coupon as well. They come empty, so you put your own glue in them, but we do sell a little, I think a 4-ounce bottle of the Line Co. on our website as well. You know, you can try some of your other favorite glues. It's a pretty fine tip. It's an 18 gauge tip, so it's not going to be suitable for, you know, like glossy accents or anything thick. But, you know, there's any kind of those, you know, PVA kind of glues, you know, would work great in it. But I love the Line Co. It's my favorite glue. I use it for everything. I just cut off the tabs on this page because there's not another label to go to. And then the way I like to train it is I just hold the inner labels. So I'm going to hold the inner labels and I'm going to twist those to go opposite what the outer ones are doing. So the outer frames are going valley mountain. So I want this one to go mountain valley. And I just train it like that. And then I can give it a good squish. And then of course, you know, I can add a frame here like I did here. Added a frame to the front, you know, decorate it up how I like. And then obviously I'm going to put my greeting and everything and a little place to sign the card back here on this page. And then that is going to be about a 4 3/4 inch square. It's going to be a little bit less than a 5-inch square is what this ends up. So you don't have to use a square envelope. You can put that in an A7 envelope, like a 5x7 envelope, and then it will go for a single stamp as long as it's not over 1/4 inch, which depends on how many pop dots you use, I guess. You know, you can get it pretty thin if you don't put the pop dots in it. So yeah, so that's our Easter accordion. You know, I love these because they make just such a beautiful display piece as well. All right, so do we have time to show a couple other things with that fancy label accordion here? Here's a good example of, oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Here's a good example of that frame edge that you can buy separately. So the difference here is I used just the die and I had to trim a little bit off the edges. Okay, so it's going to match perfectly on the inside. There's going to be no inner shadow. But if you get the frame edges, it's a little bit more paper friendly because you're not having to cut this whole area in the middle. You know, it's just all on one die, like lined up as 4 pieces. So then you can get this kind of cool, you know, frame look to it, and you get the inner edge as well. So that's something you can get for that. But you can do all sorts of things with this fancy label accordion, you know. This, you know, can be as many pages as you want. Here's some of those add-ons you can get for it. So here's one with our
oh my goodness, wow,
add-ons. So this piece is the add-on set. So this is the foundation die, your fancy label accordion, and then you can get a piece that will kind of turn it into a double pop-up. So now, so you have the extra set of folds there, and you can do that. You know, you can double that. You know,
how many? What's the longest fold you've ever done with this particular die set?
I think I did one time for like my design team at the time. So I think it was like 10. It was like 10 pages. But yeah, you certainly can. This is really similar.
I don't know if you have this die or not. I'm going to give you an idea. Is to do some sort of inner part where they are birthday candles.
Oh, we have that. We have that. Look, it's like you're setting me right up for that. Let's see. Wait, hang on. I got to find a birthday candle one. Get this out.
Because I can imagine, you know, folks that have elderly folks that have very, you know, I don't know, 75, 90 years old and just have this huge long one that's got all kinds of candles. Yes, that's exactly
absolutely. And they have. So we have a Facebook group. It's called Karen Burniston Pop-Up Peeps. And people have made these accordions using that birthday candle add-on, and they just keep going with it. And I've seen those milestone cards, you know, 50. I mean, yeah, I think somebody did an 80 or a 90.
So I made an accordion card, not fancy like that, but I stamped 97 candles on it, and it folded out probably, I don't know, 10 or so folds, and gave it to my wife's grandmother, and she thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Isn't it the best?
She'd never seen anything like that. So it was a lot of fun. And fortunately, I got it on video. So I think it's somewhere on my blog if anybody's interested in checking that out.
I absolutely want to check it out.
All right. Well, we've got time to do our giveaway. We're actually over, but that's okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You know me.
Okay. We were just
just cut me off.
I know. All right. So I'm going to do my overhead camera so we can see what the giveaway is. And we've got our little bundle here. So we've got, most importantly, we've got the fancy fold accordion. Excuse me. And we've got some rainbow charms there. And then, of course, we've got the Happy St. Patrick's Day word die. So cute. All right, so I want to know who is interested in getting this giveaway. Let me see the emojis in the chat. Who wants to win the Karen Burniston, the KB Riley giveaway? I know a lot of you guys are wanting to get those. Yes, look at all of those emojis. And I saw lots of people saying that they've already bought it. So we'll see here. I'm going to go ahead and draw our winner. And this goes to, I'm going to spell this name because I do not know how to say it. J-O-O-B, Job maybe? J-O-A-B. I do not have glasses on and the screen's really low. But the last name starts with an H and ends with a K. Congratulations, Job, Joey. I'm not sure how you say it.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. And thank you guys. And so don't forget that promo code for 20% off, y'all. That's huge. 20% off. Is that for the entire store?
Yes, I think that's what Tanya told me.
Wow.
She's coming up next, right? So you can verify with her about that.
For sure.
Yeah.
20% off. And that's an amazing savings. And, you know, you guys, dies are not cheap. 20% off will go a long, long way. So definitely check that out. But it's only good for 48 hours. So you need to snag what you want to snag right now before your favorite die sells out. All right. Thank you so much, Karen. I appreciate you coming on. Oh, wait. You have to show my favorite.
Okay. Gosh. Put it in the thing. It's this one, right? The oh, wait a minute. I gotta change my camera. Sorry. This one, right?
I think so.
Yep. Okay. So Brandy always likes this one. This is the surprise cubes that will pop out of the
Oh,
box.
your camera like froze right when you were doing it.
Did it? Okay.
Yes.
Never mind.
Okay.
Rewind
Forget y'all
again.
saw that. Forget you
Okay.
saw that.
No, we
We're
saw
gonna do it
that.
again.
So this is our surprise
Yeah.
cubes, and then they will fly out of a box, or you can use them in a card or whatever. They make great little photo cubes. So,
But you know the one that I really, really like, Karen? I love that too. But I love the snowballs.
oh, the snow. So it's real similar, but that one I don't have right here. I thought last
Okay.
time you said you wanted to see. I'm sorry. Well, yes, we also
Okay.
have snowballs that'll fly out of a box, so you can make those too. So we have
All right.
rubber band pop-ups for that.
Let me see your face before we head out. There we go. Yes, awesome. All right, you guys, we're going to say goodbye to Karen, and then we're going to head on over to see her business partner, Tanya, in the other live stream studio. So be sure to go to the schedule page, cardmakersuccesssummit.com/schedule, and grab that link and head on over to the other live stream.
Sounds
Take
good.
care, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen.
Sure. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.